Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and we're about to get that Spider-Noir TV show from Amazon, and I was super excited about it. Didn't realize how low I was running on time, so I wanted to go ahead and reread the first three of these four books that are out now for Spider-Man Noir. Now, this first one here, just called Spider-Man Noir, it was part of a phase of Marvel, for anybody who doesn't know, where they did a whole line, kind of like nowadays they're about to do this Marvel's Midnight Horror thing. This at the time, they were doing a noir line where they would take superheroes you and I know and dump them into different time periods, not in like a time travel way, but just put them and apply them in another timeline to another day and age. With Spider-Man Noir, you had the 1930s, for example. I think it's specifically 1933. And all of these little miniseries they would do would only be about 4 issues long, and if I remember, I think there were 2 different X-Men ones, but most of them only had like one miniseries. I think there was one Wolverine and 2 X-Men, or one X-Men and one Wolverine. There was some kind of correlation there. But then you'd have like Luke Cage Noir, which I have on my Kindle, but I've never read. And then you'd have like Deadpool Pulp, which I haven't read. No, I did read that one. I think there was an Iron Man Noir I read. I think there was... what else was there? There was a Punisher Noir. I have a hardcover copy that I got for Christmas many years ago, and it's a bad book. It's terrible from what I remember of it. I've read it like 5 times, but it's terrible, man. So anyway, the noir line I really like. It's usually kind of making use of darker color palettes and stuff, and I really dig that. But my favorite was always this one from 2009, Spider-Man Noir. And it's actually written by David Hine, and the art is done by... Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through my... not scroll through, but open up my paperback copy here because it's falling apart. It's so dangerously falling apart. Apparently, the other writer is Fabrici Sapolsky. I don't know. The art's done by Carmine Di Giandomenico. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so bad with the names here. So... I love this book. It's so, the trade paperbacks are terrible. They totally fall apart. This one's fallen apart. Its sequel from back in the day, Eyes Without a Face, which I'm going to review next. That copy is okay. Like, it's not falling apart, but this one completely has fallen apart. Like, the outside was like one whole piece. It's a mess. But let's talk about Spider-Man Noir. Again, it takes place in 1933. It's kind of a darker storyline that I really, really love. I hope the Marvel Midnight stuff kind of really goes for this kind of tone for me. So, essentially, this is before Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man Noir. And it's kind of like a very Shadow-esque version of Spider-Man. It's kind of like what Batman started out as back in the day, where Spider-Man, like, carries a gun, like a pistol and stuff. And I love the setting. I love how it's snowing in this particular storyline a lot. I think it takes place like right after Christmas, I believe. So it's got this atmosphere of darkness and poverty and all kinds of issues like that in the world. Aunt May and Uncle Ben, when he was alive, they're like, according to the back of the book, they were like socialist, soapbox speakers. Like that's some kind of fucking job or something, whatever. But Aunt May is like always trying to rile up the people to go after the rich and elites and so on and so on. This version of Aunt May, she's barely in the book, but she's super annoying when she's in the beginning of the book to me. And Peter Parker, he's upset because he actually was the one who found his Uncle Ben dead. And his Uncle Ben had been killed by crime bosses. There is a crime lord kind of in the town. His name is the Goblin, aka Norman Osborn. But nobody knows how he got that nickname, and that's the best part of the book to me. But he has some henchmen that work with him, the 3 Enforcers, if you've ever seen the Enforcers from the old Spider-Man comics. I don't really know if those guys are in newer ones much. Kraven the Hunter's with him. He has like a pet tiger and a pet chimpanzee that like hangs around him and stuff. I feel like there was somebody else. Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, who is modeled after Nosferatu. And he's absolutely nightmare fuel. I remember the first time I read this paperback when I got it for Christmas all those years ago, probably about 2010, 2011. And the Vulture is genuinely threatening in this book. He's genuinely scary. And Peter begins to investigate this stuff because of the death of Uncle Ben. And he hangs out with Ben Urich, who's kind of the narrator of the story. And it's not it's not leaning into that noir movie thing enough where you have like someone speaking in a very pulpy, Frank Miller-esque type of way. They don't have enough of that, in my opinion. And then the second book, Eyes Without a Face, doesn't do that much either. It kind of leans more into wanting to do more action stuff, but kind of like the pop culture-y things we used to do in stories at that time. But here, it's kind of an origin story, but it's also juggling all the stuff with Peter and Ben Urich, and kind of like J. Jonah Jameson and some weird things happening there with the Bugle. But it's really well done, and I love the art. If I haven't talked about that enough, it's not just the snow that they have in here. It's just the look of everything, even the formatting of the book. So, for example, a lot of the time when you read a comic book, the space in the background and between panels and stuff will usually be white, right? This is just completely black. And so it really adds this tone in the presentation to the actual book and the kind of story it's telling. And just so you know, not just with the Vulture, but with other things, people get killed all the time in here, and it's kind of grisly. Even if the violence is off the screen most of the time, it's a pretty grisly, dark-ass book. And it reminds me of what Marvel used to be. When I first got really into comics and really actually reading comics around like 2018 and 2017, and experimented with them up before that, like when I got this, when I really got into comics, the stuff that I really enjoyed so much, that a lot of people say is the worst era, was those 2000s comics. I really liked that kind of stuff. We did this kind of thing. Even if we were violent, it could be off the page, but the implications, like in shadows and misty-looking situations and panel colorings and stuff, all of that was really, really well done, and the build-up to those things was really, really well done. It made them more effective. And it's probably why, not only the amazing costume and design for Spider-Man Noir's costume, it's not just that, it's not just the pulpy feel in the 1930s setting for me, it's that this story is something unique, even with Spider-Man, which is kind of a debatable thing too. This is kind of a part that I think makes the book not as beloved in a lot of ways, in my opinion. So Peter is not really the Peter you and I know. The Spider-Man Noir here is not really the Spider-Man you and I know, even from that Into the Spider-Verse movie where he shows up for like a little bit. As much as I'm excited about the Spider-Noir TV show, there's probably not a good chance they're going to mimic this particular type of Spider-Man. This is not a jokey Spider-Man. This is more of a Peter Parker who wants revenge for what happened to Uncle Ben. So he's determined he's going to solve this mystery, and there's a lot of problems like with Ben Urich, who he's friends with. They meet other people like Felicia Hardy, who runs a kind of, God, what is it called when people used to hide alcohol like within secret buildings and shit? What is that called? Is it bootlegging? I don't know. Anyway, that kind of thing in the 30s, when alcohol was illegal. I cannot remember to save my fucking life right now. It's even brought up in the book when I read it yesterday. But anyway, she has like a secret club called the Black Cat and stuff. She's not like a superhero or anything. This is very kind of basic and ground level. But this Peter Parker is not the Peter Parker everybody typically loves. He's kind of a dick. He's kind of... And again, he's one of the people who just does not care about killing bad guys. And again, as a fan of The Shadow, not a hardcore fan, but a fan enough and liking what I've seen of The Shadow, I'm cool with that. I'm really, really cool with that. Seeing Peter with like the hat on top of his mask and stuff. Understanding this time around, I don't know how I've never caught this, or maybe I just forgot the detail, but understanding how this costume came to be and where he got it from was a really cool story that's like in 2 pages, and I completely forgot about it, or just don't remember it, or didn't pay attention to what they were actually saying. To me, it's a very smart comic. It seems like they're actually going for detail. They're trying to make a very intricate type of tale, and I love it for that. I think it's super special. When Spider-Man gets his powers, when Peter gets his powers, there's like a vase thing that gets broken, and one of the spiders that kills somebody escapes and bites him. And he gets in contact in this horrific vision with this like spider monster, right? And it's implied that these powers are not just, a radioactive spider. They're like some kind of curse or some kind of supernatural entity, some kind of false god type of thing. it's pretty cool. I really like that. A lot of people seem to really, really hate that. I like that. I also like that Spider-Man Noir in this couple of books, he has black webbing, kind of like a symbiote. It's kind of neat. Whereas in the third book, which I'm reading right now from like 2020, I'm rereading it, but the 2020 book, it's white webbing. So I don't know if later on the Gwen Stacy affair book, I don't know if that goes back to black webbing or what. It'd be sick if they did. But anyway, there's not like a Mary Jane Watson in here. There's not really any kind of love story stuff in here. It's mostly about Ben Urich and Peter and the mystery with Uncle Ben and stuff. But that's not like a heavy mystery in here. It's more of, there are parts of that story that Ben knows and that Peter doesn't. And it's more about Peter finding out about those things. But again, Peter's not making jokes and stuff, even as Spider-Man. He's just kind of going and getting shit done. And there's like this one particular part of it where Aunt May confronts Spider-Man for having a gun. And it's such a stupid ass conversation for the situation they're in. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. It's such a stupid fucking conversation that it makes Aunt May look even more dumb than she is in the book at the beginning. Talk about a soapbox, man. But I really like this book. I think it's really good. I think it has so many great moments. I think there's this kind of a dash of horror thrown into the pot here. And I really love that as a horror fan. This is not like beloved, like I said. There are fans out there like me who love this shit and who talk about it all the time, religiously almost. The art is fantastic to me. I wish there were more panels of Spider-Man like in a cool pose, like you typically get with Batman and stuff. But one of the other things I noticed here too that I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong about this. I read this kind of over the weekend, and then I read, especially yesterday on Sunday, Eyes Without a Face, the sequel to this, from the same creators and artist. And I don't know for sure if Spider-Man uses his web to swing in these books. Now, I know he jumps from place to place, like not like the Hulk, but like if he's going down an alleyway, he's like doing backflips and jumping off arm rails and stuff, or handrails, and fire escapes and stuff, and sides of buildings. But I don't think there's ever a shot in here where he uses the web and just takes off into the sky somewhere. So I don't know if that's even a thing. That's just a detail I picked up on this time that I never noticed before. But yeah, in Eyes Without a Face, I don't think there were any shots of him doing it there either. So I don't know, man. I'd love to see what you guys have to say about that down below. But that's pretty much all I have to say, man. Spider-Man Noir is a freaking fantastic read. It's not perfect. It has its problems. But like I said, I love and adore it, man. I can't understand how people don't enjoy this as much as I do. I really hope that the Spider-Noir TV show really covers this story more than anything. Because it's the best. It's the best out of all the Spider-Man Noir stuff I've read. The only one I haven't read, as far as I can tell, looking at online, I think there's only 4 books, is the Gwen Stacy affair. That'll be the only one that I cover here, God willing, that I haven't read yet. But this in particular, it's such a special read. And I really liked the style of a lot of the noir books, but none of them, not one of them to me, came as close to being as great as this was. I think there was even a Daredevil noir, and I don't think I even liked that much, which was kind of wild. Maybe it was just one of those labels that didn't do what it should have done with all those different hero storylines. Some of them I remember liking okay, but this was always easily the best one. I think it's why it has the best reputation out of all of them. But if you're like a normie, if you've always wanted to get into Spider-Man in some way, facet, or form, and you like the look of Spider-Man Noir, and you happen to be a Shadow fan or a Pulp fan, this doesn't lean into pulp enough, in my opinion. Like I said, with all the kind of Frank Miller boxes it should have of dialogue. But it's still really cool, and it's got some great action and fighting in it. It's a really cool read, and if you like horror, it's in here. So check that out. I really recommend Spider-Man Noir to the right person. Have you read it? What do you think about all of these books? Let me know, and let me know especially if you're excited for the TV show coming out like I am. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.